I reread the article again because as I have a fundamental problem with Noam Chomsky's like theory of mind, okay,
Mm.
the way he views linguistics as a whole. But let's
Ye-
put that aside,
But is that not related
just
or
because
no? Oh, okay.
it is related. Yeah, of course. It's all
So
everything in my
quickly give
fucking
his
head is
what is it? I mean, all I know is that he you know, he thinks that there's a systematic way to the way the brain works or linguistics, right? And that's why he
well,
says
he
all
frankly
languages are relatively similar
over
and things like that. No? Something like that? I don't
yeah,
know.
he has there's a con yeah, he has a concept called universal grammar.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
universal grammar is the idea that there is a innate ability.
Hmm.
And by the way, I'm trying to be as general as
Yeah,
possible,
yeah,
and
no,
I'll
this
explain
sounds
why
yeah.
later. The innate ability in human beings to acquire and process and I guess reproduce languages and culture and sometimes ethics. And I say sometimes ethics because in different writings he does have different
Mm,
sort of this universal grammar thing does have like different slightly different explanations,
yeah.
and it's not clear if he means, in my view, it's not clear if he means there is a specific part of the brain or it's a number of
Mm,
processes that relate to each other and lead to a unique sort of outcome. This was his universal grammar, by the way, was written sort of in a criticism to behavioralism, which was the mainstream theory before then, by Frank B. Skinner, which talks about the idea is that you acquire languages through repetition, sort of copycatting, repetition, and reward.
mm.
You know, you see somebody, you repeat, or there's a, you do something, something right happen. So, anyways, I this is not where I have the problem with, by the way, because I agree with Chomsky on if he talks about universal grammar as a mechanism or as an ability, I agree. As a just a physical part
Like a skill, kind of like a skill in
yeah,
a
yeah,
way. Or yeah,
or a
kind of.
combination, side effect.
Mm.
There is so many different ways to put it. The problem is his argument is based on something called poverty of a stimulus. So that's the part I disagree with, and it's quite some people like it's controversial. Poverty of a stimulus is the idea that he argues that children at a young age do not have enough input to be able to recreate the grammar or recreate language. So children are sort of adding innate sort of knowledge to it,
Mm.
or there is a mechanism in the brain that is, which I think is,
So
I don't know,
that's like a
I find it
so
very
there.
problematic.
So the evidence of that would be like someone saying a word that they've never heard, like that kind of stuff. Like a kid saying a baby, like
You,
oh, is that
I don't
I don't
remember
know.
that a specific example. What I do remember is
No, I might
kids
be mistaken.
making new sentences,
Okay, yeah,
new
sorry. Okay,
grammar,
okay, yeah,
new
yeah.
I don't, no, no, maybe that too, maybe that too. I don't remember.
Mm.
I just
No,
don't
no, no, no,
I
no.
don't remember
I
this
meant that
part.
one. I meant that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Which is like, I mean,
I disagree with them,
hearing
man.
combination of things is more than enough. Like sometimes you never redo that exact thing, Like, I mean, when you, it sounds stupid, but when you play a game of football, you're gonna every game maybe perhaps make a new type of pass, but you practice the different combinations of it. So it's like you've heard different kind
No,
of
no, sure, but no,
sentences.
no, that's we are talking about kids. We are talking about
Mm. Yeah.
children that have not acquired language. So it's completely
Mm.
going on the, there's no practice. There's no, you know what I mean? There is no intentionality. There's no intentionality. So they acquire language like, from mom and dad, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's no, so, but I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Problem is Chomsky is a somewhat a strict empiricist.
Mm.
So they have, in my view, again, this is my very biased view, they have concocted certain studies based on that. See, they say there is a power, like they define poverty of a stimulus in a very, uh, in my limited way, and then they say that,
Mm.
yeah, there is poverty of stimulus.
Mm.
Putting that aside, though, I agree with the idea that, though, that you need like and I think they agree too. That's why they come up with the poverty of a stimulus argument, that you need a certain amount of data for the output to be, somewhat correct.
Mhm.
And well, I, I agree ChatGPT is not a threat right now to anything, right? But to be honest, reading this article makes me more makes me more believe that artificial intelligence is possible.
Mm.
Not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very weak law. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of way to go. But reading this article, like Chomsky has a way, man. He's writing as a way to make me just disagree with myself or disagree with
But
my
he
existing
said
beliefs.
the false
And
promise of ChatGPT. That's the title. But okay, so
that's the
what does the
part I
article
agree
say?
with.
Yeah, so
Well,
what is
the article argues that while ChatGPT might
is
help with automation and will lead to a lot of potentially will lead to a lot of changes in the workplace, it is not it is not a sea change. It is not a like a it is not capable of human intelligence, human understanding, because that's the problem. That's where my problem comes in.
but hold on.
I agree
But
with.
then they go on to say that but there will be such an AI in the very near future or no? Okay, Sam. So right before we got cut off there for a second, I was saying, so did they go on to say that no, there will be such an
No.
AI? I'm only saying that is because why did you get convinced from this article that there will be AI? That's what puzzling me a bit.
No. They do, no. That's I'll tell you why.
Okay, okay.
Because no, they don't really get into that. They say that there should be more research in other areas of intelligence. This is a very limited view of intelligence. They say this is not what human intelligence is,
Mm.
and then they give some, in my view, some like romantic views of human like
Oh.
that's the part where makes me completely go, okay, what? Okay, then okay, artificial intelligence is intelligence, because there is no such thing as, I mean,
Mm.
okay, let me give you the definition of the brain. So they're like open AI, ChatGPTs, Google's Bard, and Microsoft Sydney are marvels of machine learning. uh they take
Mm.
these programs have been hailed as the first glimmers on the horizon of artificial in general intelligence. That long prophesied moment when mechanical mind surpass human brains, not only quantitatively in terms of processing speed and memory size, but also qualitatively in terms of intellectual insight, artistic creativity, and other distinctly human faculties. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
This is weird. Uh, so that's what they're arguing against, right?
And you disagree
Then they
with
go
that
on.
premise?
Well, no, this is the premise I really disagree
Okay.
with, which is the human mind is not like ChatGPT and its ilk, a lumbering statistical engine for pattern matching, gorging on hundreds of terabytes of data and extrapolating the most. I have highlighted this part. That
Mm.
part is this is the
Yeah.
first highlight.
Oops. Yeah.
Sorry, gorging on hundreds of terabytes of data and extrapolating the most likely conversation response or most probable answer to a scientific question. On the contrary, the human mind is a surprisingly efficient and even elegant system that operates with a small amount of information. It seeks not to interfere, no, sorry, not to infer brute correlations among data points, but to create explanations.
Wait.
What? I'm sorry, but what?
Oh, yes,
Have
the
they seen a
finest of
human?
us might behave like that. Yeah,
Have they
maybe
ever
I'm
met
like
one? Or
seriously. I love this
man,
one.
I know.
I love this one with small amounts of operate with small amounts of information. That's correct. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But what that
There
leads
is
to
food,
is
food,
not
food.
is not, is not a sign of, yeah,
I mean,
of
it's
efficiency.
hilarious. It's.
It seeks not to
I
infer
mean,
brute
look,
correlations. I mean, that's all
come here.
human beings do
And
among data
yeah,
points, but
that's
to create
literally. I was.
explanations. Okay,
Yeah,
you do both.
exactly.
That's the same thing. Creating explanation is like the next level of that. So I mean,
No,
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry,
Maybe
but
there's
that's,
some
yeah,
scientific
that
stuff that
comes
I don't understand
that's way
because
after. No, no,
yeah.
no,
So
no, no. You
Dr.
do.
Roberts
This
and
is the trick
linguistics,
Chomsky always prays.
AI,
You go.
and
This
Watamu
is
is AI guy, AI professor.
no that's a trick they always pray. They put big words like infer, brute. The correlation. No, man. I think you're 100% right. I think explanation comes way after correlation, always. And
Yeah, this was a bit
again, I'm not
ridiculous.
like. I think we are more sophisticated in our uh, whatever qualities we have, but the idea that humans have a different or. But let me read some more. It does get it gets very confusing
Hmm.
because that's what Chomsky does. He gives a example of an apple, but then again, okay,
Other than apples,
uh,
I'm joking. I give some pretty shitty
no, the
examples.
apple
So let's
falling on
hear
a
it out. Let's hear
gravity.
it out.
But then I would say just briefly. No, I don't want to read the whole fucking
Hmm.
thing. It's very confusing and just bullshit. Right? But the David Hume's philosophy would completely undermine everything he says.
Hmm.
He's basically going based on a very simplistic empirical argument. So I mean, which could be undermined by his own empiricism, like, because an apple falls, how do you know all apples fall? How do you know red apples react the same to gravity? This we could play this game forever. So that's what I don't like about this, that they have a philosophical position about human brain.
Hmm.
And that's what Chomsky fucking always does.
Hmm.
Same with his anarcho-syncretism bullshit as well, that he has a certain position. It's a philosophical position. It's a
Hmm.
choice he's made. And then he presents, no, this is actually empirically has been proven. Actually,
Hmm.
it's been empirically proven that hunter-gatherer societies lived in a much more peaceful way than we did. It's empirically proven. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. But
Yeah.
let's
No,
listen
no.
to this. For this reason, after explaining the differences between humans and brains and all that, he says this is interesting. Let me read. Yeah, this is after the Apple thing. The crux of machine learning is description and prediction. It does not posit any causal mechanism or physical laws.
Causal, yeah.
And humans, by the way, how was the explanations for physical laws going before Newton? Before Newton came along, how was the humans going with the physical explanation? So were they doing? I mean, I don't know. Again, what people are you talking about? Go further down. After he gives further explanations, he comes to a more, like, we are getting to
Yeah.
conclusions parts. For this reason, the predictions of machine learning system will always be superficial and dubious, as opposed to human predictions.
Yeah.
Well done, because these programs cannot explain the rules of English syntax. Again, humans can. There is, like, he explains it in a video on YouTube, that in an interview from a long time ago, that grammar and syntax and all that is kind of made up. It's a social construct. For example, they may well predict incorrectly that John is too stubborn to talk to John. Okay, quote, John is too stubborn to talk to, end quote, means that John is so stubborn that he will not talk to someone or other, in parentheses, rather than he's too stubborn to be reasoned with. Why would a machine learning program predict something so odd? Because it might analogize the pattern it's inferred from sentences such as, quote, John ate an apple and John ate, in which the latter does mean that John ate something or other. The program might well predict that because, quote, John is too stubborn to talk to Bill, end quote, is similar to John ate an apple. Do you get what he's saying here?
No, actually, and I'm like reading this very closely. Is
John,
he saying, yeah,
again, that's the fucking trick he plays. John is too stubborn to talk, end quote, should be similar to John 8. The correct explanation of language are complicated and cannot be learned just by marinating in big data. So let me just put it simply. He's saying that when it's so a computer program can mistake John is too stubborn to talk to as literally John is stubborn to talk to, which is it's even if you're, it's not a like you can always, even if you're an inanimate object, you can talk to something. So when you say John is too stubborn to talk to you, mean there is no point in talking to him, right? Yes. But then again, so he's saying that a machine cannot distinguish between a literal and a metaphorical understanding, right?
Pretty sure it can once it learns it. I don't know where he's getting that from.
That's the thing. You can program it, first of all, to
I mean, he's setting the
based on
bar
the
pretty low for
context.
AI.
No.
ChatGPT, like
It's not.
some,
It's not. No. Let's stick to
yeah,
this example though. A stubborn, like if you give enough context to the program, first of all, it might be able to. It
if
might be able to. For telling it, for example, stubbornness is something that is, talking to somebody is always possible, even blah blah, unless you're dead, blah blah blah. Giving it enough context. Secondly, have you ever talked to a fucking idiot? They mistake anything for anything. What the fuck are you
No, I
talking
mean,
about?
yeah, let's put that aside because we're dealing with the ideal human here. Let's
Ideal
just take
types.
that. But I
That's
really don't, but I
don't
really don't
forget that.
agree with
Don't
the
forget that.
premise of all this though, because he's saying that the correct explanation of language are complicated. Sure, they're not just complicated, they're also random and made up, you can say,
Sorry, but
right?
you
This last sentence, right? I
the
really disagree with it. So he says the correct explanations of language are complicated. And I'll say, sure, you can say they're complicated. You can even say they're random and they're like man-made and like, socially
random.
construed
No,
or whatever.
no, wait. They're context-based, actually. They're not random. For
Yeah.
example, we might not be able to understand what was
No,
in
but
Bible,
how,
what it meant at the time, but it's context-based. It's
yeah.
very specific to context. That's what I mean. It's actually, it's, uh,
Yeah,
it's,
I was kind of
it's
thinking
all,
like, why one verb
interpretations are random.
conjugates in one way and one verb conjugates in another way.
Oh, that's completely,
I
yeah,
was
that's
more thinking of
completely
that too.
based on a social
But
norm.
regardless,
It's
however
a
you take
custom.
it,
It's
yeah.
a custom.
He's
Yeah.
saying that cannot be learned by just marinating in big data, but yes, it can. Like I'm pretty sure that's like a pretty
No,
simple thing
that
that it will
that's
pick up over time that this language in this way means this.
That's that's why I told you about the poverty of the stimulus argument. Their argument is that the poverty of the stimulus proves that it's a evidence that proves humans have a innate ability that is more than just
But I'm trying to,
collecting
yeah.
and processing data. That's why I brought it up. But I agree with you. I think humans are basically marinating in a lot of data, and that's how they they
To an
they just have
extent,
very
but I mean,
we
yeah,
just
no, I
have very
mean,
good wiring. We just have very
yeah,
good chemical and biological wiring. That's the difference. I mean,
yeah, and
to be honest,
also, and
I might
but also
do this
human
for our
beings.
channel.
Sorry, just say this, but
Sorry, go
before
ahead.
you say that, but just human beings' capacities in sense that the way that they're able to speak or the fact that they have arms or legs and all these things, also, those are I think some of like the things that make it seem like you're
No,
doing
no,
things
but
innately. But yeah, anyway, maybe
no,
that
no.
makes some sense.
Our brain seems to be exceptionally
Hmm.
large for our body size. And again, yeah, I completely understand. For example, we are capable of making wider variety of noises and combination of noises than other animals.
And we can only
But
make
to say that,
within a certain limitation. I mean, there's some stuff that we can't do,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
I don't like I mean, to be fair, this is not a good thing we are doing. We are sort of criticizing an argument. We are inferring an argument through an argument about something else. Because he's mostly talking about artificial intelligence, but
Yeah, I know, but
his
I'm
assumptions about human intelligence are so outlandish, in
that
my view.
too. But I'm also taking, yeah, I'm also quite surprised by the examples and things that he's saying about
But
AI because
by the way, what he's saying is, by the way, I mean, it's so funny because not you'd never like very interested so much in linguistic, but the stuff he's saying like is accepted as completely normal and mainstream in a lot by a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
linguists and cognitive scientists,
No, I mean, like I said, his whatever his thing of universal grammar, that makes quite a,
Mhm.
I mean, like that when I heard that, that makes complete sense to me, and I can see how that is, yeah, that is widely accepted. I'm more talking about some stuff here, but yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to read one
Hmm.
from one of the other paragraphs. Go in one that starts from, I don't think I've highlighted it, in
Yeah.
2016.
Okay.
In 2016, for example, Microsoft's Hey chatbot, a prosecutor to ChatGPT, flooded the internet with misogynistic and racist content. Having been polluted by online trolls who filled it with offensive training data, how to solve the problem in the future in the absence of a capacity to reason from moral principles. Again, humans have that capacity. It's a news to me. ChatGPT was crudely restricted by its programmers from contributing anything novel to controversial. That is, important discussions. It sacrificed creativity for a kind of immorality. And if you cannot call humanity immoral, amoral, no, not immoral, amoral, I don't know what you can call humanity. I mean,
Mm.
again, I don't know what he's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's
Before
it's
we get
it's
into it, what does he say in that first, in the brackets?
sorry, in what
In
brackets?
brackets, like Microsoft's Tay chatbot, and then there's something in brackets. What is
Oh,
written
a
there?
prosecutor to ChatGPT.
No, read that again.
Oh, no, ah,
I
shit.
love how the second time you're
Uh,
like reading it closely, just like a prosecutor.
uh, the
I can't
perquisite.
believe you did it again.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean it's
yeah,
a
well,
hard word, but you're just replacing it
say it though.
with something that's
Yeah, yeah, I'm
totally
just saying
different. It
something
doesn't
else.
even, it has like four more letters.
With the district attorney to GPT. Oh my God, I am dyslexic. I am
No, but what is the
dyslexic.
prosecutor doing in here? How did
per
he get
kiss
involved?
per
Your Honor.
uh,
Yeah, precursor.
yeah,
Tough word.
precursor. That's it. Fucking yeah. Microsoft
But
ChatGPT, a minister to
a law
ChatGPT.
student. Okay, now you're going back to the past.
Oh
This
my
is when it
God.
was just second year of law. Okay.
Like making a pronunciation mistake in the middle of criticizing one of the most prominent
Yeah. But I
like
think you made your
academics in the
point.
world.
Human beings are not that bright. I
Yeah,
think that there's your
we are
empirical
definitely not
evidence.
prosecutors to anything.
Oh, okay. I have to
Oh
ask you
man,
about
you
something at
destroyed
the
me.
end. Um, this just reminded me
Oh,
of this new TV
no,
show, but yeah.
I'll ask you about
Um,
that. But before moving on, I just want to say
yeah, there was
your
another
ideal.
video here too, by the way.
Oh, let's forget about this.
Yeah.
But the ideal thing you mentioned is very apt because when I think Chomsky mentions it in his original argument for poverty of the stimulus, that one of sort of inspirations or the philosophical starting point for the poverty of the stimulus thing is Aristotle. I think it's Aristotle. Maybe it's Plato talking about how humans see and experience so little,
Ah,
but
okay.
know so much. And it's like, yeah, we know so much, you
Yeah.
fucking dumbass. Like you only a Greek dumbass could. I don't mean Greek people. I mean like a idiot person who happens to be lazy, like Iranians and Greek people could think that. It's ridiculous.